Start rolling video. This is going to be a very quick review on a camera, Fuji XP90. A friend of mine has the XP70. There's been an XP80. This is XP90. The difference is, oh, I don't know, it's better. I don't use the Wi-Fi on here, so if you're looking for any Wi-Fi features, forget it. What people are really asking me is why all the phones have Bluetooth and none of these cameras seem to have Bluetooth capability, so that you can go out and be somewhere and then just communicate right to your phone from the camera. But I don't know, apparently they have some reason why they don't do that. Anyway, I didn't really come to talk about any of that stuff anyway. I just want to talk about the camera. And I've got a lot of different cameras. A camera this size, let's see, I've had the Canon SX720. That's that new one with the it has a 960mm effective zoom, pretty awesomely incredible zoom. I got a Panasonic ZS100, which is a 250mm zoom, but a 1-inch sensor. And of course, I've got the 35mm effective range of the fixed lens of the Leica X-U, which is the X made for underwater. And I don't do underwater, but even though this is an underwater camera right here, 16 megapixels on a tiny 1/2.3 sensor. And people might want to know how good it is. I got the orange one because the when I first got interested in it, it was $179, and they boosted them back up to full retail of $229, and I finally managed to find one that was an orange color that was only $171. All the rest of them were $229. Comes with booklets, comes with a little instruction thing, tells you how to push the right buttons. So it has the cable in here, the USB cable. I find some of these USB cables I have, they don't fit very well. Well, they have a charger here, a charger just for the camera with a USB port on it. So it's an external charger, but there's no capability to take the battery out apparently and charge the battery separately. Well, somebody's probably made a third-party charger. If they do, and it comes with batteries, I'd say avoid that, because I don't like third-party batteries for pretty much anything. I mean, you know, you got an expensive camera. If it blows up, nobody's going to cover you. I carry the camera in this little pouch, which I find to be very handy. And so let's take this out of here and get a closer look. Here's the front of the camera. Now you got to remember that with this camera the lens doesn't extend, and so the optical zoom of 5x, I believe that's probably 24 to 120 thereabouts millimeters. The zoom is going to occur through some kind of folding mechanism inside to use as mirrors to, you know, bounce the thing from the lens onto the sensor. So optically it wouldn't be as good a path as having a lens that goes straight through. However, I've examined the photos of some detailed photos that look pretty darn good for detail. So compared to most any other point-and-shoot camera that's in the, you know, up to $250, $300, whatever, this seems to stand up pretty well, you know. And it's very small, compact. And let's see if we can open this thing. It's waterproof, so it's got a peculiar opening here where you push the center button and start rotating that dial over here, and then when you get it rotated all the way, it pops open. So you can get a look at the inside here. And here we have the SD card slot right there, and I'm using a micro SD card inside of a SD frame. Then we have the battery down right up here. This battery, let's see if we can pop that out of here. Yeah, you can see that battery is really, really thin, and I don't really know how long it'll last, but I'd say it's holding up pretty good. I charged it up yesterday and I've been using it quite a bit, so I think you can get an average of maybe half a day's use or a third of a day use out of it and everything else. If you're going to go out and shoot hundreds of photos and be out there all day, you probably want to have 2 or 3 batteries total, you know, one in the camera and 1 or 2 backups. The card I'm using inside here is a, you know, it's the exFAT format, I'm pretty sure. Here we have the micro USB port over here, and then over here on this side we have an HDMI port. Let's focus on that here. So HDMI and micro USB. And I think that's pretty much all we have to see inside that side of the camera. You get some interesting features on here. There's a flash on front, and that certainly works. Used that yesterday and it lit up pretty good. Screen is small, but good detail on it. Instead of having a lever for wide and telephoto, they have the buttons up here. They're a little slow, but they do work. It's a playback button there, and then there's our standard wheel there with macro and flash and all the other goodies on it. One thing they have on here, it's peculiar. It does burst shooting, you know, where it'll take, you know, however many images it can buffer until it stops to write the stuff to the card. It has the burst button right here, and the burst mode turns off every time you turn the camera off. At least that's what I've found so far. So if you want to do bursts all the time, every time you turn it back on, you got to push that little button. But you'll see a little flag up on the screen. Let's see if we can bring it up right now. Now, one of the nice things this camera does, it does that whenever the port has been opened. Let's go to playback here. Okay, here's playback. Now, if we were going to go shooting here, and all right, we push that little button down here, and you'll be able to see the burst mode icon came up there just to the right of that red P. And they have different burst mode options, which is interesting. The video on here defaults to the 1080 by 1920 and 60p. So I guess you can film those frames and then run it at 30p on playback and get slow motion and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of video options on there. See if there's anything else interesting on this menu here. No, it's just with stay focused like that. All pretty much standard stuff. A lot of good options on here. The usual face detection and so on, which I turn all that stuff off. Wireless I don't use. That was the shooting menu. There's the setup menu. And I always, you know, one thing they don't seem to have on here is to make the camera not beep with all the different buttons that you push. You have to go into silent mode, and then you don't get a shutter sound. So it'd be nice to have a separate shutter sound from the other sounds. That's one little limitation there. And let's see what else we got. Now in burst mode playback, you have to push some buttons to get into each burst and then back out to the main header picture. And there are cameras that will let you turn off that burst playback so that you can view all of the frames, you know, as individual pictures, but this one doesn't seem to have that. I hope I'm wrong. And see, when you get shutter sound here as a separate menu option, when you go there, if I remember correctly, it's not going to work because of the sound is turned off. Anyway, not as many options as they have on some cameras. Still pretty good for a little tiny camera. I've turned the digital IS off because the regular IS is, I guess it's going to be adequate. Hope it is. And see, so much for the they have a wind filter on here, which is good. Geotagging and so on. Turn all that off. Shooting menu setup. Oops. Menu. Should be a different menu on here. Guess not. Okay, anyway, I put this on P for program. You can go into auto with this and get everything done automatically. What else there to say about that? We have a tripod socket on the bottom, and to my eyes it looks like plastic, so if you're going to use a tripod with this, I'd be extremely careful with that tripod thread. Other than all that, there's a wrist strap over here. And again, you know, I paid $171, but most people are selling it for $229 now. And definitely try to get a better price on these things. Although it's probably not a bad deal for $229. I mean, you know, it's a very decent camera, and it does good photos in daytime anyway. And it's got that real compact lens on there, which works. So me, I give this a highly recommended. Great little camera, Fuji XP90, and you know, you might be able to get a cheaper price on XP80 or 70. Just look for a deal on XP90 is my opinion, and go for that. So there we go. Thank you very much.